Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of books. Well, awesome books. Today we are going to be talking about this Album of Dinosaurs, which is from 1972, published by Doubleday. And so that's what it is. And it is Wednesday, which is a book review day, and I figured we'd do just a solid dinosaur book. All right, having said that, let's roll. Okay, so here's the actual book that I've had probably since 1973. There's the back, which has just one book I'd probably be interested in. Not saying anything, not going to say which one it is, but I bet you all can guess. Maybe there was one about squirrels. So it runs a whopping 60 whole pages, and I don't even know. You get about 3 dinosaurs. It's not quite right, but you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different dinosaurs, plus pictures of some other ones like, let's see if we can pull this over here. Well, there's our T-Rex, of course, which we'll see and better momentarily. But yes, you get different ceratopsians. And there's the pteranodon, an archosaur, not a dinosaur, and other things. So now, before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this book. Did you have this book? And what other dinosaur books did you have that are of a certain vintage? Because these are still, even though this is not quite a tail dragger, he's still a tail dragger. But the artwork here is illustrated by Rod Ruth, and the colors and paintings are gorgeous. And Tom McGowan wrote this is not, if I got this, I was in 73, I was in third grade. I'm just guessing. It was at a book fair, I'm sure of it. I've got a really cool one for next week, too, from the same book. Well, probably a different book fair, but we'll find out. All right, so let's roll some more. Let's tromp on. Okay, here's the cover of my one that you just saw, my book, my one. Here's the inside of it, where you see some sizes, digging up fossils, just various drawings here. Probably these were sketches that Rod Ruth did. I don't know if boy doesn't even have a link for either of them on Wikipedia. So sorry about that. Spanish in 85. It was published in Spanish in 85, and then again in 87 under the title of El Gran Libro de Dinosaurios. But it is from 1972, and I probably got it the next year because I don't remember any book fairs previous to that year, to 73. Here's our lovely opening, and there you go. You can see where it says there, 72. First printing, yeah. So it was a book for Anne McNally, which, so it's educational. A Dimorphodon, a frilled lizard. Basis, they added this for the Dilophosaurus, of course. And there gives you the chapters and what they're all about. So again, it's a beautiful, beautiful book, I think. I just really like the paintings. Some of them are, and then they have the next pages. They start with the Coelophysis, which, of course, down in, I want to say New Mexico, there's the Coelophysis Ranch. And for some reason, they stuck spiders and dragonflies in here and a turtle. But they also tell you, what it's about to eat. Now, I believe Spot was supposed to be a Coelophysis from Land of the Lost. Then we go to, now it's being called the Apatosaurus. And now, couldn't believe it was real. Now, of course, we've got the Brontosaurus back as well. So I don't know. Apatosaurus was still an unknown name. There's a Rhamphorhynchus way up there at the top, and a fish. but she gets and doesn't get named. And we get some more sauropods, Diplodocus and the Brachiosaurus, still thinking that they were waddled around in the water because that's how they were gonna breathe. And that's pretty much the size. Jeez, I can't imagine the size of these things. And if you ever want to know, in Jurassic Park, that would have been I would have had the same reaction that Dr. Grant did upon seeing live dinosaurs. Now we get the state fossil of Colorado battling his longtime nemesis, the Allosaurus. Maybe that's a Ceratosaurus. Oh, it is a Ceratosaurus. Boy, they might have been seeing Journey to the Beginning of Time, since that was the fight that we saw in that movie. Now you can look up the episode that I did about that. I love that movie. Oh, forgot. I wanted to use the painting and then had to go looking for it. And now our Allosaurus fragilis, that would be Stegosaurus stenops behind us. And I don't know what Ceratosaurus middle name is, or second name, or Hunter of Giants. One of the things that James Michener said or wrote about in his, 7 billion word, one of his 7 billion word books, but Centennial was a battle between the Allosaurus and the Brontosaurus, or Apatosaurus, or Picosauropod, that ended up with both of them getting buried in the sand. And there's a Theriosuchus, which is a crocodilian. And then, so I took this from the coolest site, Cool and Vintage Paleo Art on Facebook. That's a page there which shows things like that. And Maldstone is where they found the first iguanodon. And there's a reason I put this in here, because there's the iguanodon. As far as the most famous dinosaur, not even in 1972 was it the most famous dinosaur. Sorry, guys. Yes, it was. It was the first one they found, and it's in Crystal Palace with a horn on its nose. But, is it the most famous? No, 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 no. All right, and there's our Compsognathus, the world's smallest. Yeah, so Spot was a Coelophysis. It was bigger than this thing. Looks like it's eating a bat. I guess it's a pterodactyl. Doesn't have bat wings. Yeah, there we go. Which were also very tiny. Then you get some, the Archaeopteryx, the Ornitholestes, bird thief, unfolding ferns. Got to have those, because what would you do without unfolding ferns in a dinosaur book? And for some reason, we get Parasaurolophilus, Corthosaurus, Lambosaurus, and a Gila monster. Okay. Then we get, now it's an Anatosaurus. It's also a Hadrosaurus, or a Hadrosaur. But I grew up knowing its name as the Trachodon. But again, Anatosaurus wins. What's this? It's the one that wasn't mentioned. And when you see Higgintooth, you know what's about to happen.
But I can. Pachycephalosaurus charge!
I'm not actually sure where this particular drawing came from, but that is one happy looking Packy. Lilith, that one's for you. So, I mean, check out the GD explanations, Lilith's current short there about her Pachycephalosaurus collection. She's got one of the largest Packy collections that I've ever seen. Not that I would know anything about or how she got them. Here is the Protoceratops, obviously what they believe is the first ceratopsian. And then you've got a Syracosaurus down here. Now, because they found them in the Gobi Desert, they just assumed that they lived in the desert. I doubt it was a desert, some 100 million years ago. Does it say how long ago it was? Well, they were the ones, they did find the first dinosaur eggs. Look at these little guys. They probably do go rough. Now we have Agent Frog's favorite dinosaur, the Triceratops. Like they were going to spend their times trying to kill each other, maybe for mating, I suppose. But these should be pteranodons, yes. And apparently there is right here hiding in the background is the world's most famous dinosaur. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. Then we get it like having a fight, which probably rarely happened. Look at the size of that pteranodon and your monoclonius and chasmosaurus. And there we have the terrible killer, which is unfair because they were just hungry. Look at that tail dragger, though. So you bend it over a little bit. I mean, it's still massive. It just isn't 18 feet tall. It's more like 12. Yeah, it's the T Rex. I do love the way these look, though. I mean, yeah, in the movies they always just dropped everything to chase people if they ever saw them, whether they were eating in the middle of having a feast or not. They would just be like, "Okay, you're next." Now we've got our Ankylosaurus. We'll give an old T Rex a whop to the jaw and in the leg. They have found bruises and contusions and fossils, meaning that these predators did not always come out the victor or broke things. You've got the Paleosyncus up here, the Acanthophilus. Sorry, Garrett. I don't know how to. I'm not an ankylosaur. I love them, but I don't know. That's a Polacanthus there. I can say most of their names. This one I'm just not quite sure. Paleosyncus. Yeah, some of them were nodosaurs. So they didn't actually have all the armor, the scoots, like ankylosaurs did. This is the only way you could get to the thing is by rolling it over, and I think that would have been high effort, low reward overall. But because once you had them turned over, they were probably couldn't get back over. Then you have our Struthiomimus, more crocodiles, and then they go over here and they have Ornithomimus. I'm not sure if those aren't the exact same. Ostrich dinosaurs. I mean, really, they were so close. And it's a Phobosuchus, an ancient crocodilian. And now we're at the end of the book. That's how fast this book. I mean, it's 60 pages. So I added some stuff here and there, but there's just some more doodles. It's the same doodles from the front. There's the back again, and the How and Why books. I have a dinosaur one and some other ones. I thought I doodled in the How and Why, the dinosaur one, but I hadn't. I have 4 altogether, and we're probably going to go over them at some point because they're fun books and they're very. I mean, this is how I learned about different types of rocks because, as you know, geology rocks. Here's a book I had 2 copies of, one a smaller paperback and one the large hardback that we all had. Geez, $1.25. I don't have it anymore, and it's fascinating in the art style because look at that. I mean, those jaws go clear back, to their neck, and that's a Ceratosaurus. It's very stylized by pictures by George Solanovic. But it was never one of my favorite ones just because they looked so weird. And it was just dinosaurs. There were no marine reptiles or pterosaurs in it. No. So I don't know. Maybe I'll look for another copy of it. Mine did get read a lot, but it's just weird looking because that's the style it's in, the whole book. All right. There we go. That is our episode, book review for today. And there it is. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I. So until our next assignment tomorrow, which is Robot Detective, 4 more episodes, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
Alive after 70 million years.
Dinosaurs!
Roaring, walking, destroying.
Dinosaurus!
The most amazing adventure since the beginning of time.
Dinosaurus!
For these people, there could only be shock and dismay. For who among them could believe that out of the primordial slime had come these creatures, The huge brontosaurus, the ferocious tyrannosaurus, even a primitive caveman. Panic-stricken, horrified, did they have the courage, the ingenuity to survive?
How do we get word out, Hacker? Mailboat will be in tomorrow morning. By tomorrow, we could all be dead.
We are going to be friends, you and me.
Sights never before seen on the screen. A 60-ton dinosaur tamed by a small boy and a caveman. A caveman loose in a modern home. The death duel of the dinosaurs. A girl caught by the dread Tyrannosaurus. The battle between giant monster and monster machine. The moat of fire.
It's holding him. Yeah, but for how long?